What's up, y'all? Shadypeach here, and in today's video we are going to be doing a deck profile covering the deck that I used to make the top 4 at my locals for set champs and earn the Scar promo. So, you guys have always known, if you've watched me, I've pretty much always played red-blue, Ruby Sapphire. I've always felt like it's one of the strongest decks, even when it's not. This format, it is especially really strong, but it definitely always has had its shortcomings. It's one of the brickiest decks there is. It often runs into the problem of drawing too many high-cost uninkable cards, and a lot of times if you don't draw your 2-drop ramp, it's usually a death sentence. So we're going to go ahead and cover exactly what I used to make the top 4. I've essentially switched the deck quite a bit since then. I'm in one of those moments right now where I'm kind of just waiting until the format shifts again, just because we're only, I'd say, less than a month away before we reach the new format. So I'm just kind of taking things a day at a time, looking at the new cards and trying to figure out what I want to do. But this is the exact deck that I used for the set champs, in case anyone wants to gain some insight. I'd say right now the main reason that you'd want to build something like this is just to test red-blue and kind of get to know red-blue. Even when the new format starts, it's most likely going to be keeping the same basic concepts. So we're going to go ahead and go over. Some of my choices are pretty standard. Some of my choices are very controversial. So we'll go ahead and go through everything one at a time. So every red, blue, and their mother runs this card. So we have our 4 popsicles. We have 3 ice blocks. An argument can be made for 2. I've definitely seen it where some people only use 1 or not even any ice blocks. But I use 3 just because I love the Sisu engine. I've always said this, I feel like Sisu is my spirit animal. I feel like Yu-Gi-Moto sometimes, where I draw Sisu just in the nick of time. After that, I have 2 Vitalispheres. This card's amazing with Maui Shark, and honestly, it can save you when you're trying to take out locations, which is a real problem for this deck, as you guys I'm sure have dealt with. If somebody puts out a library, a McDuck Manor, a Queen's Castle, not so much Queen's Castle anymore, but these Vitalispheres can help you knock those things out of the park. The main issue this deck faces is its 2-drops. If you do not draw a 2-drop in your opening hand, I've started to do this. I'll send everything back. And like, even if I don't get a 1-drop popsicle, that's not as bad as not getting a 2-drop. Not getting a 2-drop is like a death sentence because of how fast people can swarm. As soon as they see that you're red-blue, all bets are off and people are going to try to kill you within the first 5 turns, give or take. So one of the most important 2-drops that we have, not the most, but one of them, is Tipo. This guy's a body, so he can kind of contest a lot of the purple 1-drops, particularly Chernobog's followers, and he can get rid of things that are in your hand that are uninkable. So that's kind of the nice thing about him. But without a doubt, the best card of the format for Sapphire is absolutely going to be Sail the Azurite Sea. This thing is a godsend. I honestly wish we could run 8 of this card, just because it lets you draw, lets you ink twice, and it's inkable. The only drawback is it's not a song, but I honestly kind of prefer this, just because even though One Jump Ahead was a song and you could sing it with Tipo, it can't be sniped by Ursula. So this is arguably the best card that came in Sail the Azurite Sea. And I'm sorry, the Azurite Sea, and it's called Sail the Azurite Sea, so that's kind of funny. After that, we have 4 Visions of the Future. This card is broken. This card lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, which is a huge percentage of your deck, depending on what part of the game you're playing, to help you find an answer. And it's only 2 cost. I am very grateful that this is only a Sapphire card, because I would hate it if other decks had this utility. When you're top decking, this card is a godsend, for sure. We've talked about how we have a bit of a weakness when it comes to locations. This is mainly for locations, but it's also for the mirror. Every now and then I'll run into someone playing the Lucky Dime. When it comes to the Lucky Dime, I'd say it's kind of 50-50 if a Ruby Sapphire deck is running it these days. So this is a nice way to deal with that, but mostly it's for locations, especially McDuck Manors. And then you can always get them back. Most people only run one. I like to run two just because if a McDuck Manor is sitting out there for a very long time, I'm in trouble. And I have to kind of halt my forward progress just to deal with those. So now we're going to get to the first controversial decision that I've got going on in this deck. I have one jump ahead. And the reason why is what I said earlier. It is so vital to have your 2-drop ramp. And what's kind of nice about one jump ahead is it is a song, so you can technically turbo ramp. And it's not eating a card in your hand. This is what we had to rely on pre-Azurite Sea with our T-Pos. T-Po can technically sing it, or if you have all the ramp that you need, you can just put this into your Inkwell with T-Po. No one that I know runs this, but I like to have the 9th ramp just to kind of give me a little bit more of a shot. There's been times where I don't draw a T-Po or Sail the Azurite Sea, and I draw on one jump and it saved me. So I just have it as a one of. It hasn't really hurt me too much. Yes, it sucks when you're top decking and you find this on like turn 10, but it is what it is. Hasn't happened to me too much. After that, we have 2 Sisu Daring Visitors. Now, some people have elected to cut this guy altogether. I really like the utility of just being able to shift Sisu on turn 6. It helps me kill things pretty instantly if there's a damaged Lawrence on the field, a damaged Pluto on the field, a Cinderella, Rapunzel. I can just get those out of the way, but more importantly, it scares the bejesus out of my opponents, because when you put one of these out there, they know that there's a pretty good chance you're going to be shifting a Sisu. So even if I don't have the shift Sisu and I have like a Be Prepared, sometimes they'll waste their things just trying to pop these guys just because it establishes a threat that you may have in your hand. After that, we have 3 Brawls. Some people, actually, I think most people run 4, but since Sisu kind of does that job anyway, I'm essentially looking at like this where I'm running 5 Brawls if I have my Ice Block. Obviously, Brawl can do things Sisu can't, usually, but I don't think I need any more Brawls. I've never really felt like I've lacked any. After that, most popular blue card in the game, our main engine for drawing is Hiram Flaversham. What's interesting now is where the game is at. A lot of time I don't even play him on turn 4. I'll play him on like turn 6. Usually what I want to play is How Far I'll Go. You'll see in this deck, I've only, spoiler alert, I'm only running 2 How Far I'll Go as of the tournament that I joined. That seemed to be enough. But honestly, I'm of the mind of running 3 and possibly even 4. How Far I'll Go is the best thing I feel like playing on turn 3 to help me rush out a Shark or any other option to sprint to the Sisu or Be Prepared. Not that I'm saying I would count Hiram out, but I feel like after I've established control of the board and taking care of my opponent's field, I think Hiram would then be a great follow-up. It's just, it hurts so much to get to turn 3 and then play a Hiram, because then I'm not really advancing. Yes, I'm drawing 2 cards, but my opponent's like, cool, you keep drawing cards. I'm going to keep slowly killing, not so slowly killing you with all of my swarm that I'm playing out there. So I think playing something like a How Far I'll Go is really nice because it gets you another ink, gets a card in your hand anyway, and things like Diablo don't get to draw when you play How Far I'll Go because it's adding a card to your hand, not drawing. So that is, I know I just talked a lot about How Far I'll Go. If I don't have How Far I'll Go, even before I'll play a Hiram, I'll play a Grandma Tala. Reason why is a great contest to Flynn. It can sing How Far I'll Go. It's got a decent attack and a decent life. So it can actually establish a little bit more of a presence as opposed to Hiram. So like I said, Hiram has become like my turn 5 or 6 drop. If I don't have a Shark, just to be able to draw after I've established or wrestled some control from the board. But yeah, I am starting to run 3 Grandma, but at the time I was only running 2, and that seemed to be enough. Don't miss it too much. And then, yeah, we already talked about How Far I'll Go. 2 is a crime at this point. I think the game has just advanced too much. You just constantly need to ramp with this deck so fast. So 3 is a must. 4, I can see an argument for. After that, we have 1, 2, 3 regular Mauis, hero to all. Don't really need to say too much about this. This Maui and the other Maui are two of the best Ruby cards in the game. It's a broken card. It can sing How Far I'll Go. It can sing Let It Go. It just has a ton of attack and can surprise my opponents. It kills their Robin Hoods. It helps me destroy their locations. I mean, you don't really need to sing praises for Maui here at all. Everyone and their mother runs this card for Ruby. After that, we have some spot removal. Let It Go, I think is one of the prettiest cards in the game. That's just a personal opinion. I really like the foil that we got from the DLC Vegas. Honestly, if that was something that was a little bit more widespread, I would probably run those in here. I know I'm only running just basic non-foil cards, but I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that front where I don't like damaging foils, but I also kind of appreciate the look. So it's like, I want to run them, but I don't want to run them. I know that's what double sleeving is for. I'm just always of the mind of like, I'd rather sell it or keep it and just kind of look at it in a binder. But anyway, the card itself is an amazing card. Helps you deal with your opponent's sharks, helps you deal with your opponent's Tamatoas, Maleficent Dragons, and as a nice bonus, if you're ever running into a Mufasa deck, this card will ruin their day, or a Baloo. Makes it so that way their effects don't go off. It's very rare that you'll run into a Baloo or Mufasa, but they do exist. They are out there, so this card is the bane of their existence. After that, I would argue this is the second best card in the entire set. We have Maui Half Shark. This card, honestly, is an excuse not to run Lucky Dime because you can win the game with this guy on your own. Since this tournament, I now run 4. I used to hate this card. When I first read it, I looked at it and I said, I don't get it. Yes, it's got really cool abilities, but it takes a turn. You'll notice every single card in the red-blue deck that I've gone over and will continue to go over, their effects happen on play. This is the first and only card, I believe, where it takes a turn for its effect to really go into effect. But what is cool that goes into effect is it stops the game, it halts the game completely. It makes my opponent say, oh, I can't advance anymore. I have to deal with this shark. If they don't have a Zeus or an Elsa to exert with a crab, something to that effect, a lot of times they'll just summon characters and they'll just kind of sit there until they find the answer that they're looking for, which is perfect for you because you can continue to ramp, you can continue to build up control, draw cards. That's when you play your Flaversham, draw up some cards, maybe play a second shark, or the best thing, honestly, is just to play actions. You have so many different actions in this deck. You have your Sail the Azurite Sea, your Visions of the Future, your How Far All Goes. Heck, you can even win a game with Be Prepared if you have this guy out on the field and you have 19 lore. This guy is broken. So yeah, honestly, for a while, I wasn't running Dime. Spoiler alert, I run Dime. But you honestly don't need to because this guy is so good. He is ridiculous. And I'm sure he's going to continue to be strong next format. So, oh, yeah, the other action that goes amazing with him. Now I've boosted this up to 3. I don't know how the heck I was running it at 2. A Pirate's Life. This card's been around for a little while. It's been around since set 4, which is crazy that we've only now just started to use it. One of Red Blue's biggest problems is we'll let our opponent get to 15, 16, 17 lore before we finally have control of the board. And by then, all they have to do is top deck some goats, or the Baloo or something, or these days they'll even run Go-Go Tamago and they'll just squeeze the game from us before we can deal with the problem. This card gives us a fighting chance. This card is amazing. If you have a couple Maui Sharks on the field and you sing this bad boy, and then you could just get it right back, you get 4 lore and your opponent loses 2. It is a ridiculously broken card with Maui Shark. So, and like I said, I run it now at 3. An argument could be made for 4. I know DKP is running like a strictly Maui Shark deck. I have been trying that on Lore Canito, and it's an amazing deck. I am curious about trying it out, but I still like the Tamatoa Maleficent build. Right now I'm trying like a hybrid build between DKP and my own deck. I don't want to just copy him verbatim, but his deck is amazing. He's done a really good job with those super goofs and whatchamacallit, McDuck manners. All right, after that, we have Be Prepared. Most people run 2. I run 3. And the reason I run 3 is because most people run 2. A lot of time when I play 2 of them, or they've been discarded from me, most people will be like, okay, those are all his Be Prepareds, because most red-blue decks only run 2 Be Prepareds. And then I'll spring the third one on them. I like having 3 and 3 big Sisus. There have been times, though, I feel like this quite often is one of the biggest dead draw cards, because a lot of times I'll draw them in multiples. I'll draw them all together, and I'll be like, are you kidding me? I don't need to draw all of these at the same time. But yeah, it's arguably one of the most powerful Ruby cards in the game. This is Dark Hole for Yu-Gi-Oh! Until they create a Regeki version. And it can be sung by my Tamatoas and my Maleficents, so I don't think I really need to sing the praises for this card. Most of the time I'm just ramping and sprinting to this card, so that way I can start playing the game, so to speak. After that, we have a Lucky Dime. Don't really need to say too much about this one. As I said, deck doesn't necessarily need to have a Lucky Dime. This is mainly for the mirror. A lot of time in the mirror match, I would struggle because I'd have plenty of destruction, but if they played a dime and I didn't find my hideaways, they would slowly drain me out. And I don't have a dime, but they have as much destruction as I do. So if they Be Prepared all my Sisus and my Maui Sharks and my Tamatoas, at that point, because I don't have the dime, they're going to eventually win, or I'm just going to deck out, which has happened quite a bit in the mirror. So I think having a Lucky Dime is nice, unless you can really establish a lot of control early before they can get to their destruction. Something like DKP's deck. So, great card. Obviously, one of the most powerful Sapphire cards in the game. Another controversial choice that I have made. This is one of my favorite spot removal cards in the game. This is a little bit like Let It Go. It helps me deal with my opponent's Sharks, Tamatoas, and Maleficent Dragons. Obviously, it can target other things as well, but it's mainly for those reasons. I feel as though if I don't have the right cards in my hand and my opponent plays a Tamatoa, I'm really in trouble. I'm really sweating. I was using Lady Tremaine, but right now with how much Swarm there is in the game, I like Hades. He's one more one more ink to be able to establish him. He's got really nice stats. He does get Medusa'd, which is kind of a bummer, but these days I only really see Medusa in red-purple, so I really like him, and he's establishing a body. He can sing Be Prepared, which I've done many times, so I just have him as a one-of. Definitely a spicy choice, because I know I've had opponents in the past who say, like, you run one jump ahead and Hades, what year are we in right now? And yeah, but I've still beaten them. Hades definitely surprises some people. Then, like I said, I have my spirit animal Sisu. Just being able to shift this on turn 6, I feel like is really unfair, especially if you have your ice blocks. Amazing card, amazing lore. This is one of our win conditions for sure. And then we have our unbelievable Tamatoa, the card that I still to this day argue should be a legendary. I don't understand how this is only a super rare. There's plenty of legendaries in the game that don't have the kind of effects this card has. It is a ridiculous card. I know that there is going to be a new Tamatoa coming out in the new set. I'm super excited for that, but I don't know if that necessarily means I'm going to stop running them all together. But yeah, this is one of my favorite. This is basically the Blue Eyes White Dragon of the Ruby Sapphire deck, I feel like. I feel like the symbol, other than maybe Flaversham, but this is how we, in the old days, killed our opponents before Maui Shark. I think it's still a scary card. I don't know if it'll be around next format, but I still love Tamatoa, and I love him in the movie. He's just a funny guy. And then final one, the only thing that it's used in these days is, I feel like Ruby Sapphire. Feels like Red Purple has dropped this card. We have our Maleficent Monstrous Dragons. Amazing stats, great effect. The only thing that bugs me about this card is it only has 5 health. A lot of people are like, oh, 5 health's a lot. The fact that I have to get to 9 ink to be able to play this guy, and someone can just sing a Zeus, which only cost 4, to kill this, I feel like it should be reversed. I feel like it should be 5/7. I don't need to have 7 attack. I need to have some staying power. But What's crazy is most of the time when I play this, it'll die the next turn, either by like a Tremaine or like a Zeus or, I don't know, a Be Prepared, something. It's crazy how easily these things are pretty much like just quick draw McGee, where you just play one of these, kill your opponent's thing, then they'll play something, kill it, and then you kind of go back and forth until whoever runs out of dragons, because that's near the end of the game, since it's 9 ink. But yeah, that is, wow, okay, that took 20 minutes. Sorry, I was rambling for sure. Obviously, there's some other choices to be made. One of the cards that I've really been enjoying, and I didn't ever think I would definitely be, if I can find it. Oh my goodness, where are you? Oh, Super Goof and McDuck Manor. I'd say these two cards are also amazing choices. DKP was really running his Ruby Sapphire deck with these as the star of the show, along with his 4 sharks. This card is an amazing card to play against certain decks. If you just drop this early, a lot of the time people will panic and be like, oh, I have to stop doing what I was doing and kill this immediately or I'm going to lose. And most of the time they can ignore it for a little bit, but it does invoke some fear. And then Super Goof is just a great card to wrestle out a victory. This is basically Ruby's GOAT right there. And there's not really much people can do to prevent this because they don't know it's coming a lot of the time. But now they're starting to. Now people are starting to become wise to it and not just questing so easily. But yeah, anyway, like I said, that was what managed to wrestle me a Scar Heartless Hunter. I'm going to be sending this to get graded. I'm hoping we get a 10 so we can put it with our other set champ card, champion cards. So I'm hoping we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for watching. We did hit 1,000 subscribers, by the way. So I think it'll be the next video. It'll be the next video or the video after that we're going to be doing our first chapter 1,000 subscriber special. So thank you guys again for helping me get this far. I hope my videos have been entertaining. Thank you for continuing to stick with me. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. All right.